Why are we doing a video review of Threads that came out 30 odd years ago?
Because there's nothing else like it, and because it's never really stopped being relevant.
You and your brother, John, you were shown Threads at the age of 10.
Yeah, I was about 10 years old and my father showed it to me, and I think I made it about as far as the hospital scene and then just broke down. And
Threads is a 1984 made-for-TV movie.
Barry Hines is the writer, who was also the writer of Kes and has a kind of long history of English social realism, working class stuff.
Directed by Mick Jackson, who made other sort of notable disaster movies like Volcano and The Bodyguard.
It's a docudrama following two families in Sheffield in the build-up to a nuclear holocaust and the intervals up to 13 years afterwards.
Yeah, so it's principally set at the height of East-West tension during the Cold War.
Things escalate in a conflict around Iran and the Persian Gulf, and then it just becomes mutually assured destruction.
Focuses on like the really mundane things that you would have to do in the event of a nuclear attack. So people building like totally underwhelming fallout shelters in their sort of spare room downstairs with the door, following that protect and survive advice to build a shelter. And
and the family who do build the little protect and survive lean-to wooden door thing, it doesn't end so well for them. Very quickly.
I don't know, it doesn't
almost as if a door on its side wouldn't protect you from a nuclear blast very well. Totally unflinching in its sort of depiction of absolute, complete and utter disaster.
It's almost like when you watch Ready Player One, that there's so many references going on that you can't pick it all up and you forget a lot of it. In this, so many horrible things happen that you can't remember. You can't remember the last nasty thing because three more incredibly nasty things have taken its place. What would you say is the nastiest point in the movie?
I mean, the one that stuck with me when I was showing it for the first time is that woman clutching a dead, burnt baby.
It acts almost like a sort of a textbook, like a textbook that you watch to kind of to give yourself an idea of how little you'd be able to do in that.
There's no advice in it. There's no suggestions.
It does, 3 rats for a blowjob seems to be
going great
in the future.
Yeah. Everything that you take in when you watch it is going to be really useful next year after Brexit, when society completely collapses and you're selling yourself for 3 rats in Sheffield.
One of the protagonists is a woman who's just gotten pregnant, and it is sort of showing about how this isn't just ruining, you're killing all these people, it's the next generation that are harmed.
Yeah.
It's She has to. What did she have to bite off her own?
She gives birth in a barn during the nuclear winter
with a barking Alsatian on a chain outside.
And she just has to tear through the placenta with her teeth. It's horrible.
And miraculously, that's not the worst birth-giving sequence in the movie.
No.
That is funny. The film is almost in 3 parts. There's the build-up to the disaster. There's the disaster itself, which is incredibly well executed and particularly harrowing.
Yeah.
And then after sort of the initial first, month after the disaster, it then starts going 1 year, 2 years.
Yeah, then it's all a bit kind of theoretical. But I think they do a good job of it. I think they don't over-egg it and they don't underplay it either.
Yeah, it's quite long, that third act with the life in the nuclear winter post-attack. It's quite long, but I think it works because it sort of bats away any sort of rebuttal that,
give it
X,
30 years.
X number of people will die, but, people will survive. It'll be fine, and it'll be a justifiable price to pay, or it's okay, we'll be fine in the end.
Yeah.
And it shows that it's not. It's an irreversible change.
Yeah, and then the future society is going to be utterly brutal and unforgiving.
Interesting little details where they have like a new generation of kids who haven't really learned English.
They've not been to school.
They've not been to school, and they also might have been affected by radiation, so they might be slow to develop.
And
give it, sir.
Yeah, they just speak in like slang. They just have like a sort of Yorkshire dialect, and they just speak in a kind of slang instead of saying they just say a gizzy and things like that.
One day, Satan and Coney, gizzer.
I'm very glad they went with their second choice, which was to make it sort of social realism and not have their initial idea was to have the cast of Emmerdale. No, Coronation
Street. Yeah.
Their initial idea of having Coronation Street would have been bonkers.
I love the idea. Quite confusing for a lot of viewers who didn't know what they were watching if they just switched over.
Turned on.
God, this really changed recently.
This has taken a turn for the worst. It really has.
It's not a laugh a minute.
It's great though. I mean, it's horrible, but it's so incredibly well done, and it's amazing that it was made for TV and broadcast.
Yeah, 9:30 in the evening.
It's absolutely astonishing.
And for £400,000, how good it looks!
Jesus,
the effects, wow. The effects are astonishing. And the nuclear bomb attack. I don't think they've done a better one in a way, even though it's like
good.
It really you feel.
Yeah,
like
it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
If you like Threads and you want to see more movies about bombs going off.
Yeah, there was on the same weekend as Threads came out in America. They showed The Day After with Steve Guttenberg of all people, which is fine, but it's very much an American version. But the forerunner to Threads, which they also showed on the same weekend, which had been hushed up, is The War Game, which is incredible, which is done in the style of a roaming documentary crew talking to people as they're going through the same situation as Threads. And also the man who made Threads made a QED documentary about a nuclear bomb going off above St Paul's and what the effects would be. So they're all worth a watch if you like this kind of stuff.
And maybe the Protect and Survive stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a different sort of kettle of fish. It's the advice, like central government advice for people what to do in the event. It's all on YouTube.
If anyone dies while you are kept in your fallout room, move the body to another room in the house. Label the body with name and address, and cover it as tightly as possible in polythene, paper, sheets, or blankets. Tie a second card to the covering. The radio will advise you what to do about taking the body away for burial.
Also, if you like Threads, check out his other movies, The Bodyguard and Volcano.
I suppose you could watch Doctor Strangelove as well if you want.
Mm-hmm. You probably should.
Yeah.
And then Threads with Actually, that would be good just to watch Threads, but with Vera Lynn
Watch Doctor Strangelove up until the end, and then when you get the montage revealing, then switch over to Threads from the point at which the bomb goes off, and then just watch the aftermath after Doctor Strangelove.
I have a plan. Monsieur!